Two photographs, a sex trafficking victim's face redacted by law, and a former prince standing next to Jeffrey Epstein. Ted Lieu walked into that hearing with those two photographs and one question. Why did the Department of Justice shut down the investigation against Epstein's clients last July? What happened next, including the moment Lieu accused Attorney General Pam Bondi of lying under oath directly to her face, is why Bondi no longer holds that position today. Watch.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another question.
Stop there, because what Lieu just did is important. He agreed with her. He said, yes, Merrick Garland dropped the ball. Bill Barr dropped the ball. Alex Acosta dropped the ball. A whole string of failures across administrations from both parties. He is not defending the past. He is saying you are in charge now. You have the power to change things. And you are doing the opposite. That reframe matters because it removes the partisan deflection and puts the accountability exactly where it belongs, on the person currently sitting in the chair. Now watch what happens when Lieu moves to the next photograph.
Question about protecting
You answered the question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's a video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock.
Stop
the clock.
The legislation. This is
I'd like to reclaim my time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a
I
crime.
believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question,
He
Mr.
doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just
Madam
ad
Attorney
lib
General.
stuff. I did not ask a question.
Meeting will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time.
I believe you just lied under oath, said directly to the Attorney General of the United States on camera in a congressional hearing with the evidence displayed behind him. The witness statement Lieu held up described a limousine driver who overheard a phone call between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, who met a girl who said she was raped by both of them, who was so disturbed by what he heard that he nearly stopped the car. That woman later died. Officers at the scene said it could not have been suicide. And according to Lieu, not one person at the Department of Justice ever interviewed this witness. Over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, not a single client prosecuted. The investigation closed in July 2025 with a memo stating there was no evidence to predicate a case against uncharged third parties. And then 2 photographs of uncharged third parties were placed directly in front of the Attorney General who signed that memo. Bondi said there is no evidence Donald Trump committed a crime. Lieu said that is a lie, and he said it on the record with documentation in his hand. Pam Bondi is no longer the Attorney General. The question of why she was removed and what role this hearing played in that decision is one that the documentation trail will eventually answer. Over 1,000 victims. 0 prosecutions of clients, 1 hearing that the Attorney General could not survive. And consider what that means for whoever sits in that chair next. Because the photographs still exist. The witness statement still exists. The July 2025 memo still exists. The legal framework that Bondi confirmed, that patronizing Epstein's operation constitutes a federal crime. That is still on the record. None of it disappears when the Attorney General changes. The next person who takes that seat inherits every unanswered question from this hearing, every uninterviewed witness, every closed investigation that the documentation suggests should not have been closed. The chair changes, the accountability does not. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because this documentation trail is not finished. And there is one more thing worth naming before we close. The structure of what Lieu did in this hearing is worth understanding. He started with an undeniable premise. The law requires redacting victims' faces. Bondi confirmed it. That confirmation established that what we were looking at was a sex trafficking victim. Then he used that confirmation to make the next argument. Anyone who patronized Epstein's operation committed a crime under federal law. Then he showed the photographs of people who patronized that operation and asked why they have not been investigated. Each step built on the one before it. Each confirmation from Bondi became the foundation for the next question. By the time he reached the witness statement and the accusation of lying under oath, he had already established every element of the argument using Bondi's own answers. That is not a political attack. That is a prosecutor's technique. And it is why the exchange landed the way it did. because Bondi had confirmed the legal framework, confirmed the evidence standard, and then said there was no evidence, while evidence was displayed directly behind her. That gap between what was confirmed and what was claimed is what the accusation of lying under oath was built on, not opinion, not political disagreement, a documented contradiction between two statements made in the same hearing room within minutes of each other. That is the specific legal weight of what Lieu put on the record. And that record does not expire when the Attorney General is replaced. It stays, it accumulates. And eventually, someone with the authority to act on it will have to decide whether to do so.